Get your films on with the Blerds.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blerds.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Ridiculous. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello of the Film Blerds. I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. Uncle Jeffrey, and I'm joined here by my friend and co-host.
What's up, ball bags? It's Brandon Norwood.
All right, so we got a special all-news episode for you. So let's jump into it. There's a lot to go over.
I started reading an op-ed by the Hollywood Reporter on what's going on with Euphoria, and it starts off with Sam Turin's death, and Sam Turin is one of the producers on the show. Him and Sam Levinson have both split, both personally and creatively. Like, they were best friends and they were creative partners, and they split. The article starts off detailing his death, which is he died while driving. And so his 10-year-old son, had to pull over the car and find help. And apparently he died from he went into cardiac arrest, and he went into cardiac arrest because he had so much stress from working with Sam Levinson on Euphoria and getting season 3 off the ground. This whole article details their relationship, which really seemed to deteriorate during the making of The Idol. And it seems like The Idol is where it all went wrong for all of his relationships, including the one that he had with Zendaya. It details basically, like, you know, his ego put him over the top. He was at the top of the world after season 2 of Euphoria, and him and his producing partner loved The Weeknd and wanted to blow up his acting career, so they made The Idol. During The Idol, that's when shit really went bad, and Turin kind of pulled himself away from him. Zendaya, his relationship with Zendaya during the making of the Idol collapsed, because she was like, why isn't he working on Euphoria instead of doing this show? It also said, the show Euphoria, it is a remake of an Israeli show with the same name. That Israeli show was only one season. Much harsher than, if you can believe it or not, than the American show. Like, much harsher. Rue is basically the Israeli main character based off but it's also Sam based a lot of it on him, because he also went through the same things as Rue. And reading this, I'm like, so he got clean, he went to rehab, he got sober, he's still sober now. But it just sounds like this is addiction behavior from him, where he's just controlling and narcissistic and just to feed the ego. So instead of drugs, now it's just fame and clout.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We're hearing horrible things coming out of Euphoria, a lot of allegations, and even worse in The Idol. So none of this is actually surprising to me, anything that's in this article. But, like, we can't forget that, like, Sam Levinson is like a Nepo baby, right? Like, he comes from Hollywood royalty. So he's given all this power unchecked. Everyone's clapping him on the back because, he did make a great show. I had no idea that it was based on an Israeli show. And it just kind of went to his, like...
I didn't get to finish the op-ed, but as it went on further, this shit apparently dates back to the first season of Euphoria, where he wanted to direct it, and they're just like, well, dude, we'll give you an episode. And he was so hung up on every aspect of the show that he collaborated with some French-Canadian artist, and they met, and she was going to direct the episode, but then their relationship soured. And then she started seeing billboards for advertising the first season of Euphoria, and she was just like, I can't believe my artwork and my style has been stolen in these promotions for this show. She was like heartbroken. And so there's another woman who was ultimately hired to direct the first episode, Augustine Frizzle. She didn't comment. She doesn't want to comment, but apparently Sam Levinson was basically over the shoulder on directing her, nonstop vaping, wouldn't stop pacing back and forth, and it got so bad that she did the first episode, and it was just like, you guys just let him direct the rest of the show. And so there's been two other directors on the show, and they both did one episode each of the first season. I think one of them's Jennifer Goodwin, an actress, and I like her as an actress. But if you saw her face, you know exactly who she was. But that's why he directs all of season 2.
Yeah, and that's gotta tell you something right there. That like no one wants to work with him, right? Like he's so controlling. And here's the thing: this is his first time at bat, right? Like, what has he done before Euphoria, right?
Assassination Nation. He's done a lot of indie shit.
Right.
Uh,
So,
my thing too is this reading the production of it, where like they're Sam's also blaming it on Zendaya because she has such a big movie career, and I'm like, well, bro, you went and did this show. Of course, people are gonna go do other shit, and of course,
right.
why would she say no to doing a Luca Guadagnino film? Why would she say no to doing a Denny film that could potentially become a franchise? And it did. It worked out for her. I mean, I look. You can't begrudge people for putting themselves first when you ran off and want to break the next superstar into acting.
Right. And here's the thing: I don't hear him going after Sydney Sweeney, whose career is skyrocketing also,
Yeah,
right? And
well,
who's probably
that's the one thing they talk about season 3, and a lot of the reason why it's taking forever is because nobody can agree, which we talked about all their ideas before, because that's all known, but nobody could agree on what they wanted to do, and finally everybody agreed on an idea, which Sam is writing now, and one person close to the show is like, all I have to say is God help us, whatever it's gonna be. Because apparently everybody wanted to come back except for Jacob Elordi. Jacob Elordi was aloof about it, as they said, and he was just like, if it happens, it happens. So he's coming back because they re-upped his deal. But the one person who was really gung ho for a third season was Sydney Sweeney, and she was the
right.
one pushing for Sam to have control. She's like, these first 2 seasons worked out. Why don't we just keep it as it was?
The first 2 seasons worked out despite everything, right? Like it wasn't they didn't work out because it was a master plan done by a maestro. They kind of worked out by accident, you know? Like you put enough talented people on screen at the same time.
It
That
also doesn't help that Fezco died, Agnes Cloud, because that's
right,
another thing. Because apparently that really fucked Sam up. Was Agnes's death? Not only did because they were friends, but also because he was gonna play heavily into the show, and also he saw him as himself because he kept sending him quietly. Him and HBO kept sending him to rehab because everybody at HBO and Sam Levinson, they all agreed like this kid's too talented to die young off of drugs.
right, right.
And unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean, I like it's, and I'm sad because Angus Cloud, like, he never got a chance to really blossom. But honestly, he's my favorite. He was my favorite part of the show.
yeah, well,
Honestly,
yeah, because I'm reading the article. They said HBO and Sam Levinson a couple of times paid out of pocket if HBO couldn't, pony up, because sometimes it was like an emergency where they need the money right then and there. But apparently, thousands was spent on Agnes's rehab.
yeah. So I mean, like this show, it's gonna go down in history as one of those brilliant but cursed productions, right? Like one of your one of your stars dies,
A producer
um,
dies
a producer
in the mid
dies,
of a split.
right? You got a tyrant director or tyrant showrunner, you know?
Yeah, and let's not forget Zendaya was a star before this show, so it's not like she really needs Euphoria. She wants
Right.
to do it because at the time she had just as much as a creative say of what was going on with Sam, but now it's like, well, the tides have kind of turned, you know what I mean? And she's just like, nah, I'm a producer on this show. Rue's my character. I play her too. I was like, she ain't wrong.
Right. I
The
mean,
show wouldn't be a hit without her.
she's living the character, right? She's like she created this she helped create the world, right? And the thing is, like I said before, this show became a thing despite all of the machinations in the background, right? Like you put enough talented people on screen, something magical is going to happen, right? And Zendaya was a large part of that.
Yeah, that's the
But
reason why I watched it, because I'm like, Zendaya's doing an HBO show. What?
right,
Honestly,
so
this kickstarted her career from being known as a Disney star to being now Zendaya. You know what I mean?
right, and here's the thing: like as a showrunner, you should be happy that the people in your orbit are being successful. All right, that their stock is going up. Um, but when you have a little fucking tyrant, you know, uh,
And they said
running things.
the production on The Idol wasn't good either, because he would just come up with ideas on the spot and rewrite them. And they're like, Sam, we got the scripts locked. And he's like, no, I got a better idea. And he would rewrite it and reshoot things.
And honestly, like I watched the first episode of The Idol, and I was like, I don't have to watch anything else.
Yeah, same. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like,
Right.
that show was only like, what, 4, 6 episodes? And after the first one, I'm like, I've seen enough.
Wasn't it supposed to be 7 episodes or something like that? But like the the behind the scenes bullshit was so bad and was so badly received that they were like, nah, we're gonna end it early.
I don't know about all that, but I just know, like, out the gate, everybody was just like, no, thank you. And I just remember watching that first episode and I'm like, I like The Weeknd. The Weeknd is sleazy, but I don't like The Weeknd this sleazy, to the
Right.
point where it's just uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. So
Especially somebody that uncool. I'm like, yeah, how's this rat-tailed motherfucker like this conniving?
I mean, I never trust a motherfucker with a rat tail.
Yeah,
But
exactly. That's why it doesn't make sense.
yeah, like that show was just ill conceived, and it was one of those things where uh the dude had too much burn, right? Like he thought he was gonna be HBO's next golden boy.
It's the M Night effect. You blow up too quickly.
Right,
Because when he
right,
blew up too quickly, first thing he said, yeah, I'm the next Spielberg.
right. But like Samuel Levinson, all he's had is Euphoria, because I've watched Assassination Nation, or I tried to
No,
watch
I've
Assassination
watched the
Nation.
whole thing. It's a dumbass movie.
Right, exactly. Like so, and once again, he comes from Hollywood. Like so it's already that entitlement and that fact that he has to fight against that preconceived notion. Like anyone who's born into that like that star realm, right, or that power realm, you kind of have to prove that you're different than everyone's preconceived notions.
Oh, I
And
mean,
he didn't.
I'm gonna have to finish reading the article because it is very interesting. But like, I'll finish reading it and I'll circle back. But like, yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts. I'm glad they're finally gonna start shooting it next year, because they're saying by the time this thing gets on, earliest it'll be 4 years since season 2.
Really, Jesus.
And there was already a big ass gap between season 1 and season 2, and that's just because of
Right.
COVID.
Yeah. So 4 years. Yeah. Like it's going to be hard for us to believe that they're still in high
Oh,
school.
they already
Yeah.
said they
Yeah.
can't. They can't. They've
Right.
graduated. Like there's just no way they can keep the show in high school. Like this is now when they're living adult lives. So I'm guessing it's gonna be like a high school reunion or some shit,
Yeah.
or a college party or some shit.
We'll fucking see. But like, they say they're going to be shooting next year, but like the way this production has been like taking hits, I don't know.
Yeah, I say yeah. If they finally agreed on some shit and they're giving him the deadline of November, scripts have to be in so that way January they can start shooting. Then yeah, I mean, if multiple people close to this are saying it, like yo, the hammer's coming down, like yeah, man, nah.
Now I'm just saying from a pure like karma point of view, I hope nothing happens. Right?
I'll say this: this is the last season of Euphoria.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like yeah, like uh, if it's this much trouble to get to a third season, there's no way they're going to be able to pull it for fourth season.
Especially
Right?
since, the OG show was only one season. And I will
Right.
never watch it because I read descriptions. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. HBO, no, excuse me, Warner Brothers Discovery, they're looking to split. They might be
Oh.
splitting.
Oh, I wonder why that is. It's
I ain't
because
read the article. I just saw the headline and I was just like, okay. Alrighty. I'm not surprised.
because it was an ill-conceived notion, like joining these two brands together and trying to force feed us. And like what we've had this conversation before, like I want my HBO and that's it, right? I don't want you to force feed me Honey Boo Boo or whatever other fucking bullshit you have on the Discovery Channel or the Discovery networks.
It's the effect of Wall Street. The Wall Streetification of Hollywood is starting to backfire big time. Big fucking time. That's why the strikes happened last year. That's why the movies are suffering this year. That's why
And
that's why everything I watch now is one big fucking fan film. I'm just like, oh well, Wall Street. Wall Street listens to the fans, and now like this is what the bullshit we're getting.
right, and I look, it's always been a business, right? It's always been show business, but there was always kind of an understanding that you can only push shit so very far, right? Um, like the old studio heads realize that, right? There's only so much bullshit you can try to pull before stuff starts to crumble. But as soon as you put money people in charge who, have no sense of creativity or the artistry of things, yeah, this is what you're gonna have. This is what's gonna happen, right? And we've had this conversation before.
It's
We are
it's not solely also on the money people. This is also on the creatives too, because those Sony leaks. Remember those Sony email leaks?
yeah.
Jeff, they were so out of ideas for Spider-Man movies that the big one that was pitched in those leaked emails was Amy Pascal. I shit you not. I remember reading this. I had to read it like 3 times. I was like, okay, this is real. Amy Pascal pitched to the board a Spider-Man movie where it's a Tough Mudder competition. And that's the whole movie.
I'm sorry. So it's a superhero triathlon.
Yeah, he's in Tough Mudder. I was just like, bro, I was like, yo, if this is what we're doing now, I was just like, motherfuckers have pitched some really good scripts. Like, I've read some good scripts that have never gotten made, and motherfuckers have pitched it. And I'm just like, bro, they cannot pitch like a crazy ass action movie that you could make probably no more than 90 million, probably make you a lot of money. But you're gonna do Spider-Man as Tough Mudder?
Well, it's because they don't make movies anymore. They make products.
Yeah, clearly,
Right?
because we'll get to that motherfucker later.
They make consumables. So it makes me sad that that was an actual idea, but it doesn't surprise me that it was an actual idea. It was like, hey, Tough Mudder's a thing. This got a great brand recognition. Let's mix it with Spider-Man. Yeah, that's because you're not making a movie. You're making a 2-hour commercial to sell whatever fucking toys and or I don't even know. Is Tough Mudder even still a thing?
I don't even think so. So that shit, by the time the shit came out, it wouldn't even be like relevant.
Right? Like, ugh.
Damn, y'all had no faith in the Andrew Garfield one after Spider-Man, after his second movie, that you're just like, we'll pivot to Tough Mudder. An even worse idea than what you were already executing at the time.
Right? And like, I look back at those Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, right? Like, they could have rescued those, right? They could have rescued that. They could have brought it back in a third.
Should have just kept it and just let Sam Raimi do Spider-Man 4 like he originally wanted to. Like, he could have just did that. But I read that shit and I was just like, oh my god. And I was like, yeah.
Like, so this is, and it's that old adage: be careful what you wish for, right?
Oh
so
yeah, because I got some shit to talk about when we get to it. Where I was just like, man, oh man, god damn it! I was just like, fucking
be careful what you wish for because you may get it. So like the fans,
yeah,
they asked for all this shit, and then you get it, and it's never as good as you can imagine in your head, right?
No.
It's never as good as it is on the page because that's why you read it in a comic book, right? That's it's so it's sad. It's a thing.
So while we're on the topic of Warner Brothers Discovery, our boy Zabsy, he straight up said, fuck the NBA. We don't need the NBA. Why are we paying for the NBA? Fuck that shit. Let the rights lapse. We don't need that shit. Oh, well, everybody at Warner Brothers Discovery says otherwise. Come to find out, not NBA, he was looking at the streaming shit. NBA wasn't making them money on streaming. You know where it was making them money? On TBS and TNT and all the other companies that show that shit on their network. So now all the shareholders were like, fuck that. We got to get this shit back. Well, the biggest company in the world, Amazon, now owns the rights to it. And now they got to go to court with Warner Brothers Discovery because now Warner Brothers is like, fuck that. We're getting this back. We're going to sue. We matched the pay offer that Amazon did. And they're not hearing us back, and we got first look rights.
And here's the thing: as soon as I read this, as soon as this was announced, right, that they had lost the rights or they had given up the rights, whatever, like that, to NBA, stock across the WB, across the board, right, like all of their entities went down 7 points.
Yo,
right?
My man's is trying to cut everything just because, I'll save money. I could get some bonuses. And now it's finally blown up in his face. Finally.
Right? I don't give a goddamn about sports. I don't care about basketball. But I know everybody else fucking does. So why would you want to give away the right? Like, oh, it wasn't making us money on streaming. Yeah, but you was making your money other places.
Everybody keeps forgetting. A lot of people still have fucking cable. Not everything lives and dies by streaming. Like that motherfucker is stupid. And I was like, bro, they're going to be spending so much more money now, going to court, doing all this, trying to get the rights for this back. But by the time if they win, they finally win, they still gotta pay the NBA on top of that. Like at some point during all this, I would turn to the board members and be like, "So he's gone, right? Because like now we're losing more money."
I don't know how. Is this Operation Valkyrie? Like, is there a secret cabal that's trying to get rid of him from the inside? Because he is systematically just destroying.
Yeah.
Warner
Yeah,
Brothers,
man.
right?
Yeah, man. Like Warner Brothers Records is gone. Cartoon Network is no more. That's why My Adventures of Superman comes on Adult Swim.
Right? Like Cartoon Network's gone. Um, Not to mention the fact that they shelve mostly completed movies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and like, I don't understand how you shelve the the Batgirl movie, or you shelve Coyote versus Acme, but you put out House Party,
And The Flash.
right? And The Flash.
You remember that movie Scoob, the computer animated one that was supposed to come to theaters, and then they are like, "All right, well, it's the pandemic. We're putting it on VOD."
Vaguely,
It
yeah,
was
vaguely.
decent. It was decent. It was a hit for
Right.
them. You know what I mean? Like I rented. Even I paid the $30 to rent that motherfucker.
Right, because it's fucking Scooby
Right,
Doo.
and it
Right.
launched at the time what was supposed to be the Hanna-Barbera universe. Like they had Captain Caveman in there. Like a couple more Hanna-Barbera people pop up throughout that movie. And during the credits, you can see like Johnny Quest working on the Mystery Machine.
All right, that sounds pretty cool.
They
Maybe
did
I'll
a
check out the
sequel
Scoob movie.
called Scoob: The Holiday Adventure. That motherfucker shelved that
Okay.
too. Like that movie's finished. I was just like, yo, so a movie that actually made y'all money during a time where you couldn't make money, you decide not to put the sequel out.
Right, right. And like, so I don't, maybe this is why I'm not a businessman or I'm a fucking billionaire, because I don't understand how you make shit for a living. That's your whole entire thing, is to make shit,
Yeah,
make movies and TV, and then you don't put it out,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then like you dismantle and you close all of these different entities. Didn't they go and do like a mass firing a couple of months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what are you doing?
This NBA thing, it has to be like the straw that breaks the camel's back, because like this is now going to be not millions, but hundreds of millions. Because
Yeah,
Amazon paid 100 million for the NBA. They matched that offer, which was much more than what they had the rights for. And now, on top of the 100 million, they got to spend all this money to go to a court with the biggest company on earth. I don't know.
right. Yeah, it just seems like I said, this seems like the producers. This seems like he's actively trying to tank this company.
I'm serious. I'm like, yo, what is it gonna take? I wish I could fuck up this badly and keep my job.
Right?
Because let's be real, this is a fuck up. There's no good
Right?
decision from this.
Like, I mean, it honestly, he should have been fired during his 90-day probation period.
Because that's wild. Like, we don't need the NBA. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you do. Because y'all forget, y'all still own TV networks. People still have cable.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and they have cable because, like, honestly, for sports,
yeah.
right? Like most of the people I know who have cable have it for like TNT, TBS, CBS, that shit.
And they forget they had Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. That brought them in money too, because people would actually watch those. And
Right.
that, you know where that money comes from? It comes from the fucking advertisers.
And let's not get it twisted. We're gonna have a huge swing back to cable and network television
yeah.
in the next 3 or 4 years. Mark my
Yeah.
words. Because I was looking at streaming the other day, and it's like, it's too much.
Oh yeah.
Right? It costs me too much for shit I don't watch. And like, it's honestly, it's overwhelming the amount of choice, right? And like, only Tubi, of all the services, only Tubi actually gets me, right?
I was looking, HBO Max and Disney Plus just recently put out a plan. I think it's Hulu, HBO Max, and Disney now offer a plan for $30 a month. And I did the math and I was just like, that is actually $60 to $80 cheaper a year to do this bundle than what I'm paying now for them individually. Only thing that sucks is I'll have commercials for HBO Max and Disney Plus, but at this point, fuck it. Because that's $60 to $80 I could save a year.
Right? I mean, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I went back to the basic bitch Hulu package where with commercials, I don't mind it. I don't.
See,
Not at
the
all.
the only reason I didn't have Hulu without commercials is because they don't offer that yearly. Because it's just cheaper to pay for everything yearly, where you just make one payment and then they save you like 30 or 40%.
Yeah, so like this shit's gonna crumble.
Oh yeah.
Like the stream shit, like the fact that like when I turn on Disney Plus, right? Because we'll talk about this in another episode. I went through the whole entire X-Men universe. I've watched every X-Men movie, and I'm seeing shit that's on Hulu, right? In HBO Plus on Disney Plus is like, why am I paying for Hulu then, right? Like, what is going on? Like,
was Predator on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I saw Predator was on Disney Plus.
Is it really?
Yes. At the top where it says stuff for Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
I saw Predator. I saw hard R-rated movies on the Disney Plus app where it says like on Hulu.
Oh man, I might be able to watch Predator in 4K. That gets me excited because Predator's only streaming in HD on Hulu.
So like it's this is gonna crumble. We're going back to network TV. I swear to God, in the next 3 years.
This is a lot of people have been complaining too. They're like, "Yo, I don't want to pay to watch the Olympics." I'm like, "Yeah, because we used to watch that shit for free." And now you see everywhere sold out because everybody's been buying antennas and just plugging in digital antennas into their TV to get the basic channel so they could watch the Olympics on NBC for free.
Right.
Because nobody wants to pay for Peacock to watch the Olympics. I'm only watching it just because I paid $20 for a year of Peacock. That's why I'm watching it.
I already have Peacock, so it's not a deal for me.
The deal for me was paying $20 for Peacock. That's the deal for me. That's
right. But like,
if only I could get that every time. But then again, I think I just saw a deal where they're offering Peacock for $16.99 a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. $16.99 for the entire year.
Yeah. It was like last month.
Shit, I'm mad that you have to comparison shop for streaming services like you are looking for a fucking car.
Yo, listen, I'm not paying $60 a year for Peacock.
Oh yeah, no, hell no, right? But like that's a significant. That's fuck. That tells me that this is like the whole entire Peacock thing's a scam, right?
Yo, listen,
like they know that it's like, yeah, we'll sell it to you for $15 a year. They're just trying to squeeze an extra $15 out of you because you can watch the shit on fucking buy yourself an antenna.
But also like. Peacock also has the movies and shit like that. That's the problem. Is like, yo, like Peacock is not worth it if you pay full price. It's worth it for me because I'm like, oh, I paid $20. Like I would pay no more than $30 a year for Peacock. That's a year.
Right.
So yeah, let's see you know what, man? I haven't checked on him today. Every time I go on and check the news, Zaslav is always trying to. Let's see real quick before we move on if my man has done anything. What's my boy David has been up to?
Yeah, like thank God we haven't found out any like sexual improprieties, right? Like at least he
ain't a Kevin. He ain't in no Kevin territory. Because if he was in Kevin territory, it'd be like Drake, be like, again.
It's like the best thing we can say about David Zaslav is he's not a rapist. That's the best compliment we can give the guy. That's sad.
It is, and the fact that this nigga. When somebody asked him like, yo, how do you feel about the election? And he's just like, yeah, I'm voting for whoever will give me the biggest tax break. Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm flustered by that statement. I don't even know how to respond to that because it's so indicative of who he is. Right. Like I would rather have a motherfucker say, I'm voting for Trump because X, Y, and Z, then like whoever give me the best deal, I was gonna vote for. Is like, so that means you don't stand for anything but fucking money. Nah. You greedy pirate ass motherfucker.
Nah, man, I forget exactly what he said, but that's basically his words.
Right? Even lie to us, right? Like lie and say, yeah, I'm voting for democracy and everything like that.
Here it is. Asked about the upcoming presidential election, Zaslav said it mattered less to him which party wins as long as the next president was friendly to business. We just need an opportunity for deregulation so companies can consolidate and do what we need to be even better. Consolidation, huh? That's all that dude cares about.
Yeah, that sounds like someone who is really ethical when it comes to business practices.
Right? He just
right?
straight up says it.
Less
Consolidation.
less regulation.
Consolidation.
Less regulation. It's
Liquefy everything.
Yeah. When you had less regulation, you had kids in coal mines. Like,
Holy shit. Yo, yo, y'all gotta find somebody else to run this company, bro. Y'all having a rough summer too. We can't even see fucking Trap.
yeah. This is how bad it is for Trap, right? So did you get the email about the giving us 2 free tickets?
No.
So Market or one of those entities, they sent me an email yesterday, or I saw the email yesterday. I was meaning to bring this up. So they gave me they gave me a coupon code to go on fucking Fandango, and I can buy tickets using this coupon for Trap, right? But it's only for $15 per ticket, right? So any money that is over that, you have to come out of pocket with.
So you basically have to go before 4 p.m. at an AMC.
Right.
Because if you go after 4 p.m., that's going to cost
or Regal. But I'm just like, is this not the most fucking fucked up, shady ass shit? You're giving me 2 free tickets, but I got to pay the tax, or I got to pay the difference between the. It's like, I'll just go use my A-list.
Oh yeah, I already put in my A-list reservation. Yeah, it's
right.
just,
like
as for those of you wondering, they're only screening it for social media influencers, and if you're interviewing them or doing the junket. Otherwise, if you're just regular press who likes to review movies, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So that says everything, because they screened his daughter's movie 2 months ago, but even then, we knew that was going to be bad because they screened it to us the day before the motherfucker came out and was like, "Oh yeah, embargo don't drop until an hour before this movie comes out." And they can't even do that for his own movie. Warner Brothers had a rough summer. Like, I'm mad Furiosa flop because that was a great movie, but then the rest of that shit, I'm like, well, what'd y'all expect? Like The Watchers, Horizon, Trap, Horizon 2 is gone. Like, the next movie they got after Trap is Beetlejuice, and I'm like, bro, Beetlejuice better be good, man. Like, y'all better be glad y'all have Joker in your back pocket.
Right, even if Beetlejuice isn't good, which I hope to God that it's good, but like, they got to do a full court press.
Yeah.
They got to make they got to fucking hold costume contests and shit like that. They got to make this a fucking thing.
Yeah, man. Like, Beetlejuice needs to pop for them because it's like they are taking hits. And like I said, Joker, y'all can't rely just on Dune and Joker this year.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
Warner Brothers, considered beforehand one of the greatest studios that ever has been, is now turning into a fucking flaming garbage pile.
And now here we are in our final bit, Comic-Con news. Lots of it this week. Most of it was comic news. I saw some really cool comic news. They're doing a lot of absolute stuff in DC. So like absolute Batman, absolute Wonder Woman. They're doing like basically the Snyderverse in comics.
Sure.
Look, man, like that shit don't matter. It's comics. And at this point, the comics are better than the movies both motherfuckers.
And I would rather have that Snyder aesthetic in a comic book, right? Just because the lore is so convoluted. There's so many offshoots. There's so many elseworlds that it doesn't really fucking matter, right?
DC Studios debuted their logo, and it's just the class. They went back to the one we all knew from our childhood before the early 2000s, the Bullet.
Yeah, that's fine.
They debuted the only thing to come from DC Studios this year besides the logo reveal is the trailer for Creature Commandos, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just Suicide Squad with monsters.
Right.
I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it fine. It was the going back to the classic logo, fine. Honestly, when I saw it, I didn't even realize what the old logo was. That's how much I care.
It could have just kept the
Right?
new one. The new one was fine. Like it showed off every superhero, made you understand who's in this universe for people who aren't fucking nerds like us.
Right.
Because it lets you know, hey, Batman, Superman, Cyborg, Flash, we're all in the DC universe. You know, Aquaman.
Yeah, it's whatever. And I didn't even bother watching the Creature Commandos trailer because little to no interest.
I'll
You know, like
give it a watch.
I'll give it like I'll watch it, but I'm not excited for it. I'm not excited for anything in the DC realm that's not Superman, right? Like I want to see how you do
Nah, I'm excited for that
your
Lantern
flagship.
show. That fucking Lantern show sounds hard as fuck.
I mean,
And
like
that has some weight
we'll
behind
see.
it, bro. That has some weight.
We'll
Tom
s-
King and
we'll
Damon
see.
Lindelof. Last time Damon Lindelof did a DC property, we got that Watchmen miniseries.
I mean, that is fair. That is fair. But like,
And it's supposed to be True Detective with fucking superheroes. Yeah, nigga. I hope Jon Stewart
I'm
hands the shit out of fucking Hal Jordan on some pimp shit.
yeah. But despite Wolverine and Deadpool, I'm still burnt out by by comic books on both sides, by like DC and Marvel.
Well, I say the best news of the whole con came Saturday morning, where in a little ballroom they had the fucking panel for My Adventures with Superman season 3. They had art from season 3. They were like, yeah, now we could finally say that we've been greenlit for a third season. We actually got the green light back in February, but we couldn't say anything till they announced it in June. I was like, oh shit, all right. The first 4 episodes are the scripts are done. The first episode is done. They showed some art from throughout the season, and they teased Lex will be going bald this season, and also that Superboy will be in it. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna keep it that he's a clone still, because it's not Jonathan Kent, his son. It's the clone Superboy.
Okay.
Because the clone
Yeah.
Superboy is a clone. It's used DNA of both Lex Luthor and Superman.
Is it? Is that comic book
Yeah.
accurate, or is it just in the show?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I have to jump on the My Adventures with Superman bandwagon because you've been championing that for like the last 2 seasons, and I dipped my foot back into the DC animated world. I tried watching Crisis on Infinite Earths part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I watched part 2 recently. That shit. Yo, the first part was bad, and the second part wasn't good either.
As bad.
It
Right.
wasn't good.
Yeah. So I think 3 just came out like last month.
Yeah, I'll wait till it drops on Max.
Yeah, I'm not chomping at the bit for that. Yeah. So at least DC has My Adventures with Superman when it comes to
Yeah, hell
animated
yeah.
properties.
I'm about to fucking rewatch that whole show right now. Fucking I'm starting right from season 1, going straight through.
Yeah, and I hear good things about Cape Crusader.
Oh yeah, that drops this week on Amazon. Another show that they let slip through their fingers.
Right.
The Penguin debuted a new trailer. I didn't watch it, but they did confirm Colin Farrell's just like, yeah, I'm back in the Batman part 2. We can finally say like I'm one of the main antagonists. He's like, I wasn't really a main antagonist in the first one, but this one I'm gonna cause trouble for my good old friend. It takes place 2 weeks after the Batman, and then is going to lead directly into the Batman Part 2.
Yeah, I saw the new trailer just because they're doing a full court press on this on HBO Max. They have the trailer came up when I was trying to watch Game of Thrones last night, and the shit, like I was excited about it before, and now I'm super fucking hyped. This is what I wanted from a Penguin show, from that character, and it looks amazing.
I guess the last bit of DC news. Oh no, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for DC. Other than Matt Reeves says like, yeah, that release date ain't shifting again. We're gonna make it. Like, yo, we're starting to shoot very soon. I was like, all right, cool, man. All right, it's like,
cool.
Glad you got your
let's do it.
Glad you got your own universe. And now I we'll finish off with Marvel. One up, a lot of downs. Marvel started off Thursday. They got 2 panels, and The first panel was strictly for Deadpool and Wolverine. It was called Deadpool and Wolverine Celebration. And what they said was it was going to be an hour, like a 2-hour panel that was going to be a Q&A with Kevin, Hugh, Ryan, and Sean, all on the panel doing a Q&A about the movie. And instead, what happened is those dudes came out, talked a bit, and then they're just like, Leslie Uggams, they're like, yeah, our friend Leslie Uggams has something to say. They rolled the tape. Leslie Uggams was like, can we just shut up and show the fucking movie? And she did it in her character as Blind Owl. And she's like, yeah. And Hugh Jackman's like, all right, let's fucking go. They watched the movie, the entire thing and apparently Hugh Jackman, Kevin Feige, Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds all watched the movie with the fans. Like they sat down in the audience and watched the entire movie and came back on stage and was like, yeah, that was the best experience we've ever had. Like we took this movie all across the world. And he was like, this was the icing on the cake. He's like, I hope to have this experience again at least one more time because that was an experience. And so they ended up bringing everybody up on stage who was a cameo in the movie. And I don't want to say who it is because I was like, damn, y'all, this movie just came out and y'all doing this shit, just spoiling it for fucking everybody. I was like, all right. But our boy got the biggest cheer.
Of course he did.
The cheer was so loud that Ryan Reynolds had to go over and give him a hug.
Yeah, of course it is. And I wish I could talk about it without spoiling it.
Because we like to give you at least 2 weeks because it's a fucking movie. I remember the rule used to be 3 weeks before spoiling a movie, and then you get 2 days for a TV show.
Right.
And now, here at the Film Blerds, we'll give you 2 weeks because it hasn't even been a full fucking week yet. We still have yet to record our spoiler episode.
But I totally, if I were there, I'd be cheering too, for this cameo, and it proves that
y'all really shot yourselves in the foot though with the movie.
Yeah,
like I honestly just cancel this shit. Y'all really shot yourselves in the foot by doing this.
Yeah, like cancel this movie and go back to the drawing board with you know who, and let's go.
Everybody was happy to be there, so apparently found out over the weekend that Kevin revealed at Comic-Con that they spoiled X-23 because that was spoiled for me before the movie because everybody posted in their headlines X-23 is in the new Deadpool and Wolverine and I'm like, bro, I don't watch trailers because of this shit. And y'all just put it in your headline just saying like surprise character makes an appearance and that would have been fine. Just fucking spoil that shit. And Kevin said like, oh yeah, we decided to put that out because Daphne wanted to come to the premiere Monday. And then if she showed up to the premiere, we had to be, and I'm just like, you know what y'all could have just did? Y'all could have just said like,
just shown up.
She wanted to watch the movie and she wants to support Hugh because she's part of the Wolverine legacy. It could have kept that a secret. We all would have watched the movie, came out the movie. Everybody managed to shut the fuck up until Thursday. And it wouldn't have been spoiled till Thursday. Just like the rest of this motherfucking shit. I hate you.
Yeah, like when I saw everything come out of Comic-Con, I was like, oh, okay. So like the people who couldn't get tickets for this weekend, who would have really enjoyed seeing these cameos, right? You just kind of...
My thing is, this panel should have been done on Sunday, like as a big celebration to the Rockstar weekend that we had. Like, oh, our movie made this much money, so we're doing this for you, for the fans. And then that way, Sunday, you can trot these motherfuckers out, and at least everybody wouldn't have been spoiled. Like, after I came out, Jeff, of seeing the movie, I told my brother stay off the internet. He was like, fuck it, let me just buy a ticket because if I wait, and he was right, if he waited to see it with me this weekend, so he went Friday night, 2 hours before he saw it. Entertainment Weekly spoiled the big cameo, and he knocked on my door before I was about to go to sleep because he had to get a ticket for 10 o'clock at night because that was all that was available. And even that eventually sold out.
Right.
I go to sleep. He knocks on my door. I was like, what's up, man? He's like, I fucking hate how we have to watch these movies now within the first 15 hours because now I can't even go on Google without shit being spoiled. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, Entertainment Weekly spoiled blank for me. And I was just like, oh, what? He's like, yeah.
Oh man. And like here's the thing. You are robbing someone of the
Yes.
experience
Yes.
like a
Yes.
fan,
Yes.
right? Like regular people may not
Right.
be as
Right.
hyped, but like if you are a fucking
Right.
fan, right? The feeling I got, and like our whole entire row, like everybody we rolled with, as soon as that motherfucker showed up on screen, like I didn't want to take that away from anyone. That is pure fucking joy.
I really don't like that you have to see a movie now within 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll circle back around to Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll circle back around because now after this weekend, my feelings on this movie have completely changed, and not in a good way.
I mean,
And I'll
mine
I'll
haven't.
circle back around to it.
Like I watched it again this weekend. My feelings haven't changed totally, but it the first experience was always the best.
So
Yeah.
so their main panel was Saturday after that Deadpool and Wolverine stuff. By the way, my favorite part of this whole Marvel shit is the drone show, just because that Galactus shit was hard. But now even that shit's been kind of fucking shitted on me because I guess I'll start off with the best part of this fucking panel. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four just because I want that shit to be good. But before I saw the footage, I saw the title, and I was just like, "Oh, word! This look like the font and the title." I'm like, "This sounds like a fucking like a baby's movie." Fantastic Four is now called the Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
do.
hate that. Like I don't hate the name. Look, it's better than some of the other names that have been out there. But when you sent me the footage, like the test footage, and I'm in love with the
I
aesthetic.
like the tone. I like that there's actually jokes, and they're just not self-deprecating Marvel jokes. There's just actual jokes. I'm gonna say this: after these Avengers movies, keep the Fantastic Four in their own universe. Like have them come to the sacred timeline and help them beat who we'll get to very shortly, and then send them motherfuckers back, because Fantastic Fours 2 and 3 need to take place in this style, in this universe. Because the New York, the retro 1960s retro future New York, it looks hot. I don't really like how the Fantastic car looks, but I'll give it a shot. They had it flying around Hall H, which I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of retro future anyway, like 50s, 60s styling, and it looks like they're having fun.
More than anything,
right?
all the actors are really embodying their characters. Like, I'm glad I was proven right on Pedro Pascal. Like, he is like really acting like Reed Richards. Vanessa Kirby's really charming as Sue Storm. Evan, who's usually like has a lot of testosterone, he's actually pretty fucking like friendly and warm as Ben Grimm,
Right.
which is wild. And then Johnny is shy and bashful, which is kind of the complete opposite of what he is, which I actually dig that. I dig, like, oh, it's a bashful non-playboy version. Like, Sue's like, hey, my brother Johnny is hot and he's single, and he's all shy and bashful, like, nah, let me be. I like that.
Yeah, so like yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I like
about
the trailer a lot. That fucking test trailer.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah. So let's
Galactus first look at the end of that shit too. I was like, oh, it's too bad we're wasting you in one fucking movie. Literally after Fantastic Four, I don't need to watch another one of these ever again. You know that, right?
I mean, like, yeah, of course. I mean, we'll see how it pans out. We'll see how it pans out with Galactus. I don't know what the bigger picture is, especially if they're going to keep them in their own universe. We'll see.
They also showed a new extended trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. Everybody showed up, including Giancarlo Esposito. Harrison Ford hulked out on stage. The new Falcon, I forget what my man's name is, but the dude who's playing the new Falcon, he's up on stage, and there's one more person up on stage. But anyways, Giancarlo Esposito, he goes, yeah, I could finally reveal who I'm playing. I am playing Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society. And I was just like, y'all cut the Serpent Society out of the movie. And now you're doing these reshoots.
To put him back in.
What the fuck are you doing? Bro, what are y'all doing? On top of having Red Hulk.
This is doing your homework a half hour before it's due.
Oh my
in
God.
the class before
Oh my
vibes.
God. Kevin,
This is cut and
Kevin
paste
Feige
vibes.
said this movie is more in line with Winter Soldier. They tried to get back to doing another Winter Soldier, and I was like, okay, cool, but like, damn, bro, y'all adding like, oh, that's who was up on stage, Tim Blake Nelson, because he's leader. Because remember, over 10 years ago, in Incredible Hulk, we last see him. He was transforming into leader. So I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have leader, Red Hulk, Betty Ross, the entire Serpent Society, New Falcon, him dealing with people trying to assassinate him. This is a lot for a Captain America movie.
That's supposed to be more in line with Winter Soldier. Like, because Winter Soldier was just a spy movie with superheroes. Like, and not even like a lot of superheroes.
It was S.H.I.E.L.D. So that way, it was Captain America co-starring S.H.I.E.L.D. And with it co-starring S.H.I.E.L.D., they were allowed to have a lot of characters in it. So you also got Nick Fury, Black Widow, Maria Hill. You could introduce Falcon. You know what I mean? Like there was mad people in it, but it all made sense because it was all through S.H.I.E.L.D. because it was because there's nothing else attaching Cap to modern day other than S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. was the one who thawed him out. Yeah,
found him.
So S.H.I.E.L.D. is literally his home. Like, yeah, but like this shit here, I'm like, yo, I thought this movie was like him protecting the president. Like that would have been dope. Like the Serpent Society's trying to take out President Ross, and he has to have Captain America come in and protect him. That's dope. I don't know what you got.
Yeah.
Hulk, Red Hulk, and Betty up in this motherfucker for. And Leader. I don't know what Leader. If the Serpent Society's in this, then why the fuck is Leader in this? Just do another Hulk movie,
I don't know,
dog.
man. And
like, just do another Hulk movie.
I don't know, and they don't know.
Like it took this long. We might as well just wait.
It's one thing for me not to know what they're doing. It's another thing for them not to know what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah. So, yo, listen,
fine.
and
Let's
come
see.
to find out, a lot of people like I knew Anthony Mackie was an asshole. I didn't know that it was a well-known secret that everybody knew he was an asshole and didn't like him. Like I didn't know that so many people in the Black community don't like Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah, man. Like people haven't been fucking with Anthony Mackie since fucking 8 Mile. Like he's Papa Doc everywhere.
Bro, like I've seen a lot of Black people turn on him for the one comment he said about dreads, where he was just like, Black people with dreads, just you automatically assume they're criminals, and dreads don't look good on Black people.
Dreads only look good on Black people. All right, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. Also,
do
you know Steven Weintraub, the dude who runs Collider? So
yeah, I don't know.
But you know who I'm referring to. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this because he's been posting about it all weekend, and I remember when this went down the first time. Anthony Mackie, right after the Marvel panel, he tweeted out, "Over my 20 years of doing this, still I've encountered all types of assholes and still do interviews with the same assholes. Anthony Mackie is the only asshole I ever refused to do another interview with." So,
wow.
This is how this started. My Brand with Crisis. Remember that fucking movie? There was a documentary that they made into a Sandra Bullock movie. Yeah, and the Sandra
Yeah. I didn't see it, but
yeah,
I heard
documentary was great. Sandra Bullock movie was like, whatever. Anthony Mackie's in the Sandra Bullock joint. So on the press tour, he got a one-on-one with Anthony Mackie, and he tries to make his junkets fun. So during the junket, he goes, "I already know the answer, but DC or Marvel?" And he just goes, all right, yeah, come on, man. He's like, "When the last time there was a good DC movie? Come on, man. I'll wait. Yeah, I know you ain't gonna say nothing because there has been nothing." And he's like, no, I like Man of Steel. And he's just like, what? He's like, yeah, Man of Steel, I think Man of Steel's a good movie. He's like, oh, and you're a critic? And he's just like, well, I don't review movies anymore. I just run my site and do these junkets. And he's just like, oh, well, thank God you're not a critic. You don't need you reviewing movies. And it cuts off before you can see the rest of the interview. So, fast forward. Hold on, this story ain't done. Fast forward. It's time to do the junket for Infinity War. Frosty sits down. He
Right.
gets him, uh, Todd, Tom Holland, and Sebastian Stan because they had to pair people up for that junket. They got paired people up, so like somebody would get Robert Downey, Mark Ruffalo, and Paul Bettany. Like they're pairing them up like that. He got
Right.
them three. As soon as he sat down, Anthony Mackie goes, Frosty, Frosty, and just started laying into him for 10 minutes on Man of Steel, just laying into him. And apparently, Sebastian Stan and Anthony and Tom Holland were just so embarrassed. They sat there the entire time with their arms crossed and they just looked at the ground as Anthony Mackie laid into Frosty. It was so bad that after the 10 minutes, a rep came in, grabbed Frosty and ushered him out the room, and the publicist came up to him and was like, yeah, we're destroying this footage.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's Anthony Mackie.
All right.
And then there's the other story, the well-known story everybody knows, where he was walking down the street and somebody came up to him and asked for an autograph. He said, no, don't bother me while I'm out in public. Leave me alone. And then he's just like, well, it's for my kid, and my kid's right here. And it was like a kid who was 6, and he looked at the kid.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, sorry, no, and kept walking.
And I was like,
Right.
I get it.
But for
I
a
get it.
6-year-old
Like,
kid, I would make an exception.
Right. Right. Like, you were possibly the only black man.
A little white
that
kid, yeah,
he's
like a
seen
little
in
white
real-
kid's gonna want an
Right.
autograph from.
Like in real life, like as a kid, this is probably the only exposure to a real
Yeah,
black person,
yeah.
right? That you heard. So it's kind of your duty to like, where sign the fucking thing. It would take 30 seconds, right? And it's a little kid. It's a little fucking. You're in a comic book movie playing a superhero.
Bro, Christopher Nolan was in New York last week, and apparently mad people came up to him to ask for a picture. You know what that motherfucker did? Yeah.
They took a picture
he
with all
didn't
of
give a
them, didn't they?
fuck. He's in New York scouting
Look.
locations for whatever he's doing next.
If I ever get into a position where I'm of any sort of fame and anyone wants to take a picture with me, I would fucking gag. I would be so happy.
My only rule
take a picture.
is like using the bathroom, and because I got into an awkward situation with Alfonso Cuarón in the bathroom, and I just didn't bother him. Like he knew that I knew him, but
Right.
we're in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? So that was awkward, and I just didn't want to bother him. And he knew like I wanted to say something, but like we're in the bathroom.
Right.
And other than that, if I'm eating and with my family, then yeah. Otherwise, if I'm just walking down the street, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Walking down the street, or like, and with eating, yeah, leave me alone while I'm eating. But as soon as the bill's paid, yeah, come on up. That's fine.
Right, you know, and again, if I'm with my family, then yeah, I don't want to be. But otherwise,
Right.
like, I don't give a shit. Like, it takes you nothing. Like, yeah, that dude. Like,
Right.
no wonder, man. No wonder everybody's like, yeah, Anthony Mackie's a fucking dickhead. Like, nobody likes him. I was just like, damn, bro. So, Black Captain America, you can't even get the black community on your side, dog.
But yet they fired Jonathan
listen,
Majors.
I want to get to that in a few minutes once we get to the major news. But like, I've asked people, I was like, how do you guys feel about Jonathan Majors? You know what people have told me? They're like, I don't care. They've either said, I don't care, or why not just recast? That's the same answers I've gotten. I'm like, so if people don't care,
Then just leave him.
we're going to get to that once we get to the big news. But before we move on to the big news, they also brought out Thunderbolts, and they showed a trailer for Thunderbolts. And guess what song they used during the trailer? You're going to laugh and roll your eyes.
No, go ahead.
Pixies,
What is it?
Where Is My Mind?
Oh, okay. And I love that song.
But
I
Fight
do.
Club owns that shit.
But it will never. Yeah, it will. Like I was about to say, it will never be better than what it was.
Yeah, some movies
in
just
Fight
own
Club.
songs, bro. Like
right?
Pulp Fiction owns Miserlou.
Yeah.
Like Dick Dale's Miserlou. You know what I mean? Little Green Bags owned by Reservoir Dogs. Across 110th Street. That's a blaxploitation song for a blaxploitation movie. Jackie Brown owns that shit. Not even for the movie it was made for.
Right. Yeah. So, and what is? I'm sure it has some reference to whatever's going on with Thunderbolts.
Not really.
But I don't care.
Not really.
No. So it's got nothing.
No.
Doesn't play into the plot at all. So that's just what they decide to play.
Yeah.
Of all the songs ever made, forever. Cool. Yep, that tells me everything I need to know about this
Apparently,
movie.
the biggest reveal about that trailer is that Harrison Ford is also back as Red Hulk in this. I'm like, yeah, because the fucking team's named after him. I'll be real with you. I
Right.
don't understand why the plot of Captain America ain't the plot of Thunderbolts, where he's just like, yo, listen, y'all a bunch of criminals. I'll commute your sentence. And the Avengers, like, could just say, like, yo, the Avengers are gone. I'll commute your sentence if you try to figure out who's trying to assassinate me.
Boom, done. That's
Also,
it.
they
That's
said
the
Red
movie.
Hulk just looks like Hulk with Harrison Ford's face on it in red.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't expect it to look
They're saying they're trying to adjust.
I mean, I did not expect Red Hulk or any, like, because, to look any different than that. That seems like the character design, right? Like, you're hulked out, you're going to look like the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, only red and Harrison Ford's
Right.
face.
Same. It's the same
Right? Like,
with She-Hulk. It's just Tatiana Maslany if she was more full figured and taller in green.
Yeah, like, that does not surprise me at all. I don't care, right? Like, that's how much, like, yeah. What else did you expect it to look like?
Everybody's like, it looks action packed. I'm like, okay, but is the action well directed and choreographed?
Right.
Best things about this I can say is, like, yo, I always liked watching Florence Pugh, so I won't say no to that. And then Geraldine Viswani is in this, and then she's another one where I'm just like, yo, slide in my DMs. Geraldine Viswani is she's the other half. She was in Drive Away Dolls. She's not Margaret Qualley. She's the other one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, she's attractive, and I didn't get her talent from Drive Away Dolls, but I'm sure she's talented enough.
Yeah, let's find out about that talent. Slide in my DMs, ma. All right, let's get to the final piece of news, which is Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. This is also what pisses me off. We'll get to this in a bit, though. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is now Avengers: Doomsday. So the rumors are true. The Russos are back directing both Doomsday and Secret Wars because they always wanted to do a Secret Wars movie. Doctor Doom is now the villain of 2 Avengers movies, and I that's it. He's just going to be the villain in these 2 Avengers movies. I was like, oh, cool. All right. Fuck us, huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. And if this is not the most corny, desperate last-ditch attempt I've ever seen, like, this is just lame across the board. And now this just proves everybody who hates Deadpool and Wolverine right, and why I don't like Deadpool and Wolverine much anymore. These are just big budget fan films because they could trot out any of these motherfuckers at any time in a new role and just say, multiverse, look, your favorite actor's back as your fucking favorite villain. And it's corny. I don't, these are big budget fan films. After Fantastic Four, I'm out. I don't give a fuck about this. If it wasn't for the press screenings, honestly, Jeff, I wouldn't pay to see any more of these.
Yeah, and I totally get it, and I get the whole entire fan film thing because I really did get that on the second watch, but I'm a fan, so it didn't bother me as much. But I get it for regular people. As far as this Doomsday Secret Wars thing, this casting, like, yes, it's fucking lazy, right?
It's disappointing too.
And like, and I texted you, when earlier today, and I was like, they either literally drove up 6 tanker trucks worth of cash up to RDJ's house, or they did something super, super interesting.
Well, it's obviously the first
right?
one.
And obviously the first one, right? Like, I'm holding out hope. I'm not even holding out hope. I want to see how they make this work, right? I mean, I know how they're going to make it work because you opened up the world of possibilities with these different fucking timelines, right? Cool, whatever. But, like, come on, right? Of all the quality actors out
Would have
there,
murdered it as Doctor
right?
Doom. Like, come on, man. Like,
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, first and foremost. So, like, if this was his first time in the MCU, I'd be like, okay, I'll give it a chance. He'll probably do a good job. Let's see what's going to happen. But come on, bro. You have your pick of the litter of Eastern European actors out there.
Like, fucking, you already wasted.
Yeah, because Mads could have easily been.
Mads would have
Yeah,
Madge
man.
would have ate that fucking
Yeah,
role
man.
up, right? Like, and even uh, like some of the names that were floating around, yeah, I could go behind, like I could dig that. Robert Downey Jr. I'm sure he's going to be great in the
But it's
role.
gonna be distracting the
Sure,
whole time.
that's never
It's just
right, because it's like I've spent 15 years with
right.
him as
And
Tony
now you're
Stark,
just pulling a gimmick, a
right?
stunt
And I
casting with a big villain.
right, and I get right, and I get what you're saying. I get what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to be like, oh yeah, it's the juxtaposition because people will associate him with Tony Stark and will be able to do some really cool stuff with them, like, now he's a villain, right? And it'll mess with their expectations. That's what the pitch was, right? That
Yes, it
pitch is
is.
fucking stupid,
Yes, it is. You know it's
right?
bad when the only people who were excited for this shit were the people in Hall H. Otherwise, the rest of the internet woke up and was just like, "No, thank you." Jeff, I saw this news at 4:10 in the morning. I woke up at 4:10 to use the bathroom. I was like, "Oh yeah, I missed the Marvel panel. Let's see what happened." I go, first thing I turn on Google and Twitter. That shit pops up and I was like, "I'm going back to sleep." I was like, "Let me go back to sleep." And I was like, "Fuck this! I'm going back to sleep. Let me get my." I woke up 4 hours later. I was like, maybe I was having a weird fever dream. Let me check. I was like, oh no, that was real. All right. I was like, fuck this, man.
Right.
Some
So like, why
we
did
were making
like
$200 million
you
big budget fucking fan films. Like Marvel and Star Wars now are
right?
literally run by the fans, and I'm done. I'm done.
Like I've been done with Star Wars. You've like everybody know, like I've and Marvel. I was done with them. I was back for Wolverine and Deadpool, right? Until that second watch, and like I said, you
I
hate the
haven't
movie
seen
on the
it yet
second
again.
watch.
I'm gonna see it again this
I
weekend before we do our spoiler review.
right, like I watched it again this weekend. I still enjoyed it, but all of the criticisms I get 100%. I get,
And that's the thing, that shock value,
and that's
it
what.
only works the first time. So once you come down from it, you
Oh
sit
yeah,
there
only
and
like
you think
yeah,
about the movie and you're like, "Wait, there's nothing much here." And this is all done
right. I
just to
mean,
make you clap for the fans.
right, and like yeah, we'll get into this, in our
And
next
so like,
episode.
yo, bro, like the thing that pisses me off is me and you now have wasted so much time anticipate and this is not just us, but everybody else in general too. We've all wasted so much time getting invested in Kang as a villain and his arrival to really destroy the Avengers because ever since they announced Kang Dynasty, I read the Wikipedia for that comic book run. That is a significant
Right,
event in the Marvel universe. Like that literally shapes the events of Secret Wars. Like Kang literally
right,
destroys the MCU. And I'm just like, so what you're saying is the third biggest villain behind Doctor Doom and Thanos, or fourth biggest, because it's Galactus, Doctor
Galactus, yeah.
Doom, and then Thanos. And now Kang was their fourth biggest villain who nearly destroyed the Marvel universe. Y'all are just gonna drop that shit.
After 2
Of Loki.
seasons of Loki,
Quantum Mania.
right? Uh,
Uh,
right.
also,
Um,
the fact that this has been the easiest recast y'all could ever do because he's a multiversal villain, and y'all decide not to after you recasted both Hulk and Rhodey, and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody said anything. Not even you guys
right,
refuse to even mention it now.
yeah.
Thunderbolts.
So, like, what
Thunderbolt Ross. Because William Hurt died, they just like, yo, stick Harrison Ford in there. And y'all trying to tell me y'all can't do that with
right?
Kang? Like Kang Dynasty is honestly,
And,
Jeff,
like
if you read that wiki for that comic book run, you're gonna be like, yeah, nigga, I want to see
right,
that shit in a movie. Shit.
right, like, I'll read it. And here's the thing. Jonathan Majors was found not guilty,
Well,
right?
he was found
Like,
guilty on assault.
yeah. I don't like. I thought it was across the board, but still, like, you still had fucking Josh Brolin up in this motherfucker,
Right. He beat the shit out of
right?
Diane Lane
Like,
for years.
right? So like,
Also, you started this whole MCU
you already
shit off of Robert Downey Jr., dog. A person I respected because at that point in time he was doing really great, interesting movies. But y'all literally said you
right,
guys have an addict as the face of your superhero franchise.
right, like because people forget that he had like some troubles. There was a good 10-year stint where all you heard about was Robert Downey Jr. going off the rails,
This is bullshit.
right?
This is
But
really this is bullshit.
yeah,
Like there's a million black actors if I guarantee you got them on the phone and be like, "Hey man, do you want to play Kang for a couple of movies?" Yeah, sure. And
yeah,
Secret War, Chef?
100%.
You know what
Yeah,
sucks
what
is
about?
now we can't see that handover because in Secret Wars it does hand over from Kang to Doom. So now we can't even see that handover.
Sure, yeah,
Also, Secret Wars, if
yeah.
you look at Secret
Uh,
Wars, I don't know how they're gonna do that in one fucking movie.
it's gonna be a part 2. It's gonna be like Secret Wars Part 1,
Like
Reckoning, and Secret Wars
doing
Part
Secret Wars
2.
in one movie. I'm guessing this movie's gonna be like 3.5 hours, maybe 4.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a big one. But
Yeah, it pisses me off, bro. I'm like, yo, we invested all this time. So now, you know what else you're telling me? You're telling us, like, oh, we don't even need to watch all this shit anymore. We could just pick and choose what we want to
right,
watch and fuck the rest.
right, because they made it so important for all
Yeah,
of us to watch everything
right.
because it all matters. And then you're saying so none of the last 3 or 4
And
years actually
y'all
matter,
have proved this with the movies. Like WandaVision, that was not necessary for fucking Multiverse of Madness because y'all don't even follow through on the proper arc with Wanda. Falcon and Winter Soldier, what was the point of watching that shit? Y'all split up, Cap and Bucky.
yeah. So
Like the only show that has mattered to this relative movie is Miss Marvel to the Marvels, and that's it.
right,
And barely,
and like we know
barely.
what happened with the
Yeah,
Marvels.
you're
Yeah,
like, yo, this is whack. This is just stunt casting. This is literally fans. This is for the fans. It's like fan. I'm like, oh, okay. Like
yeah. But be careful what you wish for.
again,
You
this
know,
goes to why everybody was like, Disney should not own everything. And now we've been proven right. Disney should not be owning everything because this is the type of shit we get.
right? And we had this conversation on the train coming back from, I don't know what it was, but I've been talking about this for years about how that merger was the worst thing that happened to
Oh,
like
yeah, because it
movies
just
and
opened
TV,
the floodgates because
right?
now everything's merging and consolidating.
Right? Because like everybody was like, "Oh, now we can get the X-Men in blah blah blah." Is like, yes, but look at what cost. Look at the look at the cost of what this shit that you wanted so badly, right? And it doesn't matter because you still have the fucking comic books, right? They're not making this shit out of air. You have the comic books. You're still a comic book fan, right? So like fans were the death of Star Wars, 100%. Star Wars made as fans made Star Wars one of the worst, most abysmal things now. And now you're doing it to comic books. Good work,
This shit
nerds. You
has me
won.
wanting to watch just strictly independent films like year round, honestly.
Yeah, and or like I just want if I get a big budget, I want it just to be
Yeah. Yeah,
something
man.
original, right?
Yeah,
Give me
man,
an
that's what I'm
original action
saying, man.
movie.
Like, come on. We were just talking about this the other day. All the action movies we got in the 90s were just high concept action movies. Come on. I watched Predator yesterday, dog. I'm like, yo, this shit would never be made today.
Right? And like I see motherfuckers online pitching Predator sequels, right? After Prey, and all of them like, yeah, Predator in feudal
Right.
Japan, do it.
Predator in 1950s. They want
Fucking
Predator in 1950s New York, like noir Predator, like a detective versus a predator.
fuck
And I'm
yeah,
just like, at this point,
do
bro,
it.
like, can we? That all sounds cool, but also like, yo, can we? We need another Christopher Nolan. Like, we need another filmmaker who could just walk in and be like, yo, I want to make this, and they're like, sure, fully funded. It comes out, and we're like, damn, bro, that movie is hard as fuck. Like, we need another director. I guess Danny can be that once he's done with Dune, but like we need more than two people doing this shit.
Right. Yeah. I like fuck like, give Greta Gerwig a
Yes.
fucking action movie. Let's
Yo,
see what that
somebody,
like
god
let's
damn,
fucking
bro. We
do it.
need Like Guillermo del Toro got to do Pacific
right?
Rim. That movie fucking rules, bro. That's a completely original. Like, come on, man. I hate this shit where people are like, oh, when the
Right?
movies come out, I'm like, no, these are pretty cool. And they're like, no, it's stupid. And then years later, they're like, no, these were actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you don't like Pacific Rim 2, but like even Pacific Rim 2, it was different enough for me to be like, all right, well, there's no star, there's no sky, no one
Yeah,
mentioned the
but
Skywalker.
fucking John Boyega's the main character. He's the son of Stacker Pentecost.
Yeah, yeah. It was it. I expected
That
much less
fucking
than what
movie
I got,
sucks, bro. That movie
and
fucking sucks.
hey, look,
Fucking
look,
root that shit from the earth.
I I enjoyed just seeing big
Point
monsters and big
being, we
robots.
need more
That's all
big
I came
budget
for.
blockbusters that are original. And
Right. I know you have they have a fucking vault full of original ideas that they could dust off and
yeah,
just
bro,
like
because
fucking do it.
I'm
Right. And
not
here's the
Scorsese. Y'all just honestly after that panel, I was just and waking up Sunday and just reading this, I was like, oh, they proved Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola right on this shit being like deaf to cinema. Honestly,
and like here is the thing. Like everything that we love, like these multi-movie IPs, right? They all started off with someone going in a room with an original idea, right? Like it was just something new. Can we
yes,
get
yes.
something new?
Die Hard was just a
Right?
movie. It was just an
Like
action movie. Same
it
with The
was just an
Predator. It was
action
just an
movie,
action movie,
right?
man.
Star Wars was
Sci-fi,
just a
right? It was
fucking
just a space
sci-fi
opera.
movie.
Fucking Independence Day, just a sci-fi action movie with bunch of big stars. That was the hook of the movie. Was a bunch of big stars are doing this giant action movie.
We can
Yeah.
get back there, ladies and gentlemen. Like let's make
Like the
cinema
90s gave
amazing
us one
again,
of the best
right?
comic book
Original
movies,
again,
Men in Black. That's a comic book movie.
right? It gave us fucking like
Yeah.
Blade,
The Matrix.
right? Like the Matrix, like the 90s into the 2000s, right? We got original
Bro, they
bangers.
still making Middle Earth movies, and we still can't even make them as good as Lord of the Rings because we refuse to make them like that. Shot on sets, miniatures,
Like, yeah,
right?
like actual
Makes
shit,
it feel
like real
tangible
shit,
and
tangible
dangerous
shit,
instead of just in front of a fucking green screen. Oh, they actually put
right?
makeup on people to make them look like monsters. I don't know, man.
Yeah, like we'll never get back to those days again. And like those budgets are the same budgets we're using
But I
now,
feel like the ones
right?
now are
But
much more
the,
expensive because that's all we rely on.
right, like fucking get in there and fucking like be smart with your
Just
goddamn
build it.
budgets,
Go to
right?
location. Yeah, go to
And build the
locations and
shit.
shoot on sets. I guarantee you'll save money. And not only that, it'll look better. Like Deadpool and Wolverine is sort of coasting on the fact that most of that shit was on sets. Yeah,
And you can
yeah.
fucking tell.
It's the first Marvel movie in a
Like
minute that was
the
on
volume
sets.
the volume was cool when it first came out, right? And then you started using
They
it for
don't even
every
use the
fucking
volume.
thing.
They just blue screen everything in Atlanta. Like they said parts of Thor
Yeah.
Love and Thunder, Taika straight up said, he's like, yeah, we filmed this in a Best Buy parking lot. Yeah, there's a
Word?
couple of parts of that movie where he pointed out where he's like, yeah, we filmed this in a Best Buy parking lot. And even fucking Natalie Portman was like, yeah, we had this big expensive sequence and we went to a Best Buy parking lot to shoot it. And I was so surprised. I was like, oh, we can do this here? And they said, yeah, and we shot it in a Best Buy parking lot.
No.
I mean, come on, bro. There's a shot in the
Let's
Captain America trailer where Sam is standing in front of cherry blossoms in the orchid field, and it looks just fake. And I'm like, everywhere in the
right.
Northeast has a cherry blossom orchid. Yeah,
Cherry
like
blossom
you
fucking
could
trait.
find those easily and just
Yeah.
shoot there instead of just green screening it in Atlanta. Does that make any fucking sense to you?
No, but none of this makes any
That's
sense
part
to
of
me,
what makes Winter
right?
Soldier good. They
Like,
shot that shit in DC.
and like they fucking cared. They've
Clearly.
stopped caring. They have stopped caring. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
You got it, nerds.
I hope y'all enjoy
Fuck.
these movies because, like, as of now, I'm just going to review them. I'm not even looking forward to them. I'm like, yeah, all right, it's an and I hate being this jaded film critic, but like now y'all just made me this jaded film critic where I'm just like, all right, yeah, well, time to see another one of these fucking movies. All right.
Right, because when it first started, it was exciting because they were doing something. They were doing something that had not been done before. But the thing about doing something that has never been done before, once you do it once, it's old hat. So you got to change it up. After Endgame, I kind of give up.
I feel bad for Nia DaCosta because she recently came out and said that her character, Monica Rambeau, was supposed to not get sucked into a different universe, but Kevin made her change it to set up some other shit. And she wanted them all together at the end of the movie. I feel bad for Chloe Zhao. Chloe Zhao said she was working on Eternals 2. She'll never be able to make it because apparently no one at Marvel or Disney is really invested in going further with the Eternals. Kevin's words. I feel bad for Brie Larson. She gets constant fan hate over what is people's favorite comic book character. She's doing a good job in my book. She's been important in a lot of these movies. And she's not going to have her crack at Captain Marvel 3 because Disney thought, oh, we didn't make enough money off of it. Despite everybody at Marvel and Brie Larson wanting to do a Captain Marvel 3. First one still made $1 billion. Y'all put it out at the wrong time. It was during 2 strikes.
Right,
So y'all are now seeding shit that we don't even know will happen because you have Harry Styles there, and he says he wants to come back, and now we don't even know if we'll ever see him again. Y'all seeded Blade with the Black Knight. That's gonna lead to nowhere because we're not gonna see Dane as the Black Knight. So you're seeding shit now that we don't even know. Even Ant-Man,
Right.
What's my man's face? Martin Donovan runs off with the Pym particles. He was one of the villains in the movie. We never see him again. You think that'd be a big fucking deal that one of the bad guys of this movie has the Pym particles? Yeah, man, you guys see shit and never follow through with it. It's just like, what the fuck's the point, man? Because now we don't know if this shit's going to be paid off. You guys can't even pay off a main villain that you set up in 4 movies.
Right. And yet you give a whole entire television show to a character that showed up for what,
right,
2,
and went
3
viral
episodes?
off of a fucking song, a joke song.
Right. Which, look,
always
Catherine
glad
Hahn,
for you.
Catherine
Glad she's
Hahn,
working. That's all I can say. Glad she's working.
Glad she's working. I love her in everything she's ever been in, and I'm glad she's got a check.
Yeah, that's exactly all.
But
Same
that's all
with
I can
Aubrey
say.
because Aubrey's in that show too, and I'm like, oh, good for Aubrey. She's getting that Marvel money. But as far as me watching second of that shit, no, I'm good. Yeah,
no, we're fine.
My brother even brought this up. They're like, yo, they showed the fucking statue of Scarlet Witch in Deadpool and Wolverine. She never shows up. I thought she was going to show up instead of the other character that shows up immediately afterwards. So they just got shit in these movies just to have them in there. That's what the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is. We're just having shit in here just because we can.
Which is, and because the fans want it. Because, they went on Reddit and you went on these user groups, and people who show up with, fucking Deadpool shirts to the Deadpool movie who haven't left their basement.
I feel bad for Robert Downey Jr., dog, because I'm just like, dog, you just won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. You could have just kept working with high-profile directors instead of doing this. I know it's only 2 movies, but, dude, seriously. Even Gwyneth Paltrow's like, I don't get it. He's a bad guy now. The fuck is this?
You know what? And, look, good for Robert Downey Jr.
But
good for him.
It's bad when Gwyneth Paltrow has the most sense in this scenario where she's just like, wait, what? Why is he a bad guy?
And even RDJ is probably like, yeah, this was stupid, but I needed a fucking my pool done.
Man, your quote goes up after you win an Oscar, my guy. You did not have to come back this quickly.
Yeah, but you understand how much money they fucking paid him?
He got $50 million
God.
for the last 2 Avengers movies. Imagine how much money. Probably 100. I would not come back for less than 100 million if I was him.
Probably 100, right? And points.
Oh yeah, and something off the back end because these movies are gonna make $2 billion. He brings him as Dr. Doom brings in $1 billion alone.
Right. So let's say 100 million, 50 million a movie.
Yeah.
Plus back end. Yeah. I would be mad at him if he didn't take.
Notice how actors have started taking those deals more and more lately, where they'll be like, "All right, you could cut my upfront fee. I'll take 2 or 5 million, but I want some back end." And 90% of the time, that shit works.
Right? Fucking Neo from the Matrix, man. fucking I can't even think of his name right now.
Will Smith or
mind fart.
Keanu?
Yo, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is still eating off the residuals from the Matrix, right? Like he's still cashing checks off that and significant checks. Those
Go
back
ahead. I
end
mean,
deals,
he
that's
got
what it
4 of
is.
them under his belt. You know what I'm saying? Well, think,
4 of them.
and he's probably
and he,
eating off of
and he
John
probably
Wick and Bill and Ted,
right.
and Point Break.
Right. Well, like those
He has
like
some
he's
franchises
like
under his belt. He's making
he
money off of.
he come like he's everyone seems to like he always plays the dumb character, but I bet that motherfucker's the smartest dude in Hollywood.
Because he's in 4
right?
franchises that are beloved. Like, yo, they
He's
could announce
like,
Bill and Ted 4 tomorrow, and people would lose. Yeah,
and it would
people
still
would lose
it would
their
make money.
minds. They would be like, yeah, that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
So
damn.
like I can't
Oh yeah,
I can't
Speed.
like Robert Downey
Still
Jr.
probably eating off Speed.
Like Robert Downey Jr. I can't be mad at like anyone who says why would he do that?
Money.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
that's the only
fucking
reason.
money, right? Like I would dislike him if he didn't take that paycheck.
In a perfect world,
Right?
he would be doing the next Scorsese film or the next Denis film. In a perfect world.
But he can still honestly, he could still do that shit, right? Like he's having his cake and eating it too.
Devalues. If I'm in one of their position, I'm like, that kind of devalues you in my eyes.
This, right?
And
like
even when he got
like,
clean,
you know what
before Iron Man, when we all started respecting him again, he was doing Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You know what I mean? He was doing Good Night and Good Luck.
Right. So like everybody knows like what you get with Robert Downey Jr. So I don't see how it devalues him at all.
In my
right?
If I'm a director, I'm just like, come on, man. It makes me respect you a little less.
Like, nah, man. I respect a motherfucker who knows how to play the game because if he's getting this money for a Marvel movie, then like, yeah, he'll hop on your little indie film. It's like, yeah, how much you got in your pocket? Give me a dollar.
I mean, his kids are
I'm
gonna
in
be
it.
set
Let's
for
do it.
life, bro. That's all I know. Because those
yeah.
the residual
Yeah.
checks off of all, like, yo, I would take 2 residual checks from an Avengers movie, especially since he's top billed. Being top billed on an Avengers movie, I would take 2 of those residual checks. You know, it's probably like 20 or 10,000 a check.
Yeah. So he's like the only person I'm not mad at for this whole entire thing.
Oh yeah, I'm
is
not
Robert
mad at
Downey
the Russos
Jr.
either, because the Russos said like Secret Wars is my all-time favorite movies, and honestly, I'm not mad at them because nothing they've done since Endgame has been good. So like, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, let me go back and
like
and
do the thing
get
that
my
I'm good at,
capital back up.
right?
Like I'm not mad at them
Yeah.
either.
Like, cause as stupid as we think Doomsday and is gonna be, they're gonna put their all into it.
I feel like they put their all into Secret War, honestly, because that's the one.
Yeah.
But
So
like, as
let's-
far as me looking forward to seeing any of this shit, like again, if we weren't doing this show and we weren't critics, I'd be like, oh, cool, all right, I plan on never watching that. Like that's where I'm at with this shit. Like I couldn't. Yeah, exactly.
I'll
Like,
catch it on Disney Plus.
y'all thought it was bad for the Marvels, then I'd just be like, I've clearly outgrown this, right? Everybody, some dude, shout out to Liam. Liam O'Donnell tweeted, he was like, yeah, as I was sitting in the theater watching Deadpool and Wolverine, I just had nothing. I felt dead inside. I had nothing. And then I look over at my 15-year-old son, and I see him cheering and fist pumping, and I was like, good for you. Good for you. The torch has been passed on to you. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly who this is for. Like, if you're 15, 16, I can't even begrudge you. If you're 20, I can't even begrudge you. But it's like the fact that we got people older than me, older than you, Jeff, are treating this like this is fucking high art. Like, somebody said this was the best movie of the year in the critical community. And I was just like, this is why nobody takes you seriously. I talked about this person before. Because this person's the first person to see movies. And whenever they have a positive thing to say, I was like, has anybody else seen the movie? Like, can I trust anybody else who's seen this movie?
Yeah, like, let's pump the brakes. It's not the best.
This would
like,
not.
It's the most entertaining movie.
Right. Because, like, Jeff, when it comes time for us to do our top, and this is when I was high on it, when we were walking out the theater, I would say this. When it comes time for us to do our best of top 10 at the end of the year, this is not going to be in my top 10.
Right. This is like an also ran.
Like if I'm feeling
Right.
nice,
This is
this
like
might get an honorable mention, maybe. But
yeah, like it's like let's pump the brakes on the best
but then this
movie of the
person
year.
also loved Argyle,
Uh,
so we shouldn't be too surprised. That's still the
is
worst movie
is it
of
the
the
same?
year. Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
nigga.
I forgot about
Yeah.
Argyle.
Yeah. Listen, people shit on
Yeah,
Madam Web. That's why it pisses me off when people shit on Madam Web. I'm like, oh, if you're shitting on Madam Web, you probably have not seen Argyle.
and it's two different levels of two different levels of bad, right? Like Madam Web, directed by a
Still
television
entertaining
director,
for the
right?
wrong reasons.
With so like right, it's the right amount of bad. It's so bad that it's entertaining, right? Argyle, directed by a known director who was good at one time, like put out some of my favorite movies at time. This he tried to convince
And then
me of some
have
shit
the audacity to tie it back in to the
to try.
bullshit that you've been doing for like the past 10 years. Like, bro, we don't care about this
Right.
anymore.
Like that was fucking Argyle was a rope a dope. Right? This is like but that was a flim flam. That was
Yo, my
that was a
man still
grift if
thinks
I
he's
ever
making
saw one.
another 2 and a TV show off of that franchise. No,
Of Argyle?
Kingsman.
Oh, of
He still thinks he's getting 2 more movies and a TV show. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was just like, damn, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Make a good Kingsman.
Make a good movie.
Make
How about that?
make
Just
it make a good
period. Because
yeah.
even you left that for one movie, you still fucking botched it. This is honestly his worst movie.
Well, he didn't do the man.
No,
He
that
didn't do
is
the Man
Guy
from Uncle, did
Ritchie.
he? It was Ritchie. Yeah.
His
Yep.
Yo, that's his protege.
What was the last good Matthew
It's
Vaughn
Kingsman
movie? I
1.
think maybe. Did he do? Wait, what came first? Kingsman 1 or First
Kingsman
Class?
1. No. First Class came first, and then it
All
was
right, so
Kingsman. Because he did, yeah. Because right after First Class, he did Kingsman. So Kingsman's like the last good.
all right, so yeah, Kingsman is the last good Matthew Vaughn movie.
And that's where the seams start to show now when you go back and think about it. I was just like, I forgave Kingsman because it was good, but then you think about it, it's like, yeah, a lot of that was filmed in front of a green screen too, but at least they tried.
It kind of worked
right.
with the aesthetic, right? Yeah, and like I would give that a pass. Argyle,
Even Kingsman 2, I was just like, ugh, this looks terrible at parts. But like, yeah, Kingsman 2 wasn't good. The Kingsman was somehow worse. Argyle is an abomination. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Like somebody even I hated, I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't wish that movie on you, dog. Like that's how bad Argyle is. Like when if you strap me, if I was in Guantanamo Bay and they're just like, we're gonna play doom metal and show you images from a movie, you got to pick which horrible movie. Do you want Solo or Argyle? I'd pick Solo.
I would pick Argyle just because that gold dress.
But if you're seeing that image 24/7 a day with doom metal playing, eventually it'll drive you insane.
I'm still anything will drive you insane, but I'd rather go insane with that fat ass.
But anyways, back to the point. The point being, like, yo, we are running low on movies out of Hollywood that are going to be new, original, and exciting, quite honestly. Look, I don't
There's
even
always
need
Tubi.
original. I just need exciting. Like try some new things with like excitement. Like try, bro. Like I'm begging y'all, like stop filming everything in front of a fucking green screen. God damn, man.
Yo,
man.
Build real shit.
I'm gonna talk about this on our next proper episode, but like watching Predator again, I started sitting there laughing. I was like, yo, they decimated a whole village. Like for 20 minutes, it's just 6 people killing 300
just shooting up that motherfucker
in the most violent ways possible. I was like, we couldn't
nothing but
right
nothing but
blown
stuff
up
people
and shot
and wood.
up. I was like, yo, nobody has the balls to do this today. Nobody. I was just, that's what changed me up my opinion on Predator was that sequence. I'm like, man, this is the greatest movie ever made. Got niggas crawling down hills face first, just crawling down hills face first. Yo, Jesse Ventura doing dip, and everybody doesn't want to do dip, and because they don't want to do dip, he goes, "What are you guys? A bunch of slack jaw faggots?" And I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
He's like, put some hair on your chest. I'm like, oh, like
Yeah,
Bill
yes,
Duke
clutching
sitting
your
there
pearls.
just
The
shaving
80s were
for no
different.
reason
In the goddamn jungle,
in the helicopter,
right, nigga? You
and
in the jungle,
just shaving for no reason.
Fucking the 80s were different.
Yo, Billy, you ain't afraid of no man. He's like, this ain't no man, and we're all gonna die here. Yo, I want those
God,
drums in every
fucking
movie for an action sequence. That randomly you just hear like, yo, I want to see like fucking James Bond walk slowly down a hallway with a gun. You just hear those drums.
I mean, that sounds like a fan remix, man.
Captain America
That sounds like
busts
something
through
you
a
can
window.
do.
You hear those drums. That's what I love about that movie. They just randomly have them drums out of nowhere. Oh, Predator rules, man. Predator
Someone
rules.
make a ringtone for that.
Fuck,
Someone
I'm
make a
gonna go watch
ringtone for him
Predator
right
again.
now.
Fuck it.
Do it. You never need an excuse to watch Predator.
Yeah, I
Fuck it.
want
The
to
bleed, you
retract
can
my
kill it.
previous opinion that Prey was the best of the Predator series and say that Predator was the best of the Predator series, but Prey is very close behind.
Prey is the best. Is an actual movie, right?
Yeah.
Prey is a movie. Like Predator is like an experience, right? Like,
I thought you were talking about
like
in
Predator
relation to the others in the series.
I mean, like
You know,
Prey
the
has a
rest-
story,
Every
right?
movie
Like
after Predator is
the-
just like, I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Oh, there's race riots in LA. Have them in LA because LA's a jungle. And then we have Danny Glover. He's always an LA cop.
he's not too old for this shit.
Predators. How about we just stick them on their home world, which is also a jungle?
Right. And we put
the
criminals on
Predator.
it.
How about we just have Shane Black write it, and then you know what? We'll just fuck it up.
Yeah. I was watching
that
watching
movie's
The
fucking
Predator
terrible.
the other day. But like it's got moments of fucking brilliance too.
The
But it's
only
wrapped in
thing
shit.
that I can tell that came from Shane Black, where I'm just like, dog, why do you have this in here? Is like the autistic kid. I was like, that's fucked up, and the Tourette's, which Jane,
Right.
Thomas Jane.
Because
I was just like, dog, that's fucked up. I was like, why y'all have this shit in here? Like, damn.
Like the kid I hated just because like that was not a true depiction of someone with
that's why I say it's
autism.
fucked up.
Right.
And then the Tourette's
Right. Like
was
it's
just
like
in bad taste, dog. That's
R-
bad. Yeah, that was bad
just
taste.
for jokes. But like when they unveiled the Predator killer exosuit, that's when I was like,
that
oh.
Yeah, that was
you thought you were getting a second
That was
one.
definitely a studio note.
Oh, you thought you were getting a second one. Okay.
Yeah, because
That's
apparently the third act is completely different. Like test audience, I remember talking to my boy after he went to a test screening. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" He's like, "I saw a completely different third act." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "Which one was better?" He was like, "The one that Shane Black did, because that ain't what that was."
Of course it was. Of course it was. Predator
Only
Killer
thing
2000.
cool about the Predator is the Predator dog, and that's it.
The Predator dog. Like I said, it had moments. Fucking Sterling K. Brown. Fuck, I loved him. He was great.
Fuck, man, I'm gonna go watch fucking Predator now. Fuck it, watch Predator. Watch a real movie, not this fucking juvenile Jackass with superheroes, basically. And I got more respect for Jackass because at least they upfront with it. That's what Deadpool and Wolverine is, just Jackass with superheroes.
Man, you changed.
Yo,
You
listen,
changed up.
This
You
shit,
like something.
this shit just unlocked something in me. The seeing that casting, I was just like, oh, this shit, y'all been saying fuck you to me this whole time, and now I'm just seeing it. Because all this has just literally been for the fans. All this.
Yeah, I mean, like this RDJ thing. This RDJ thing
Like,
is like,
all
oh,
this
okay.
woke me up where I was
Wait,
just like, oh, this
yeah.
has literally just been for the fans. Like, not okay, all right, I see y'all. Fuck this.
Yeah, Robert Downey
Like,
Jr. is actually
I'm
Marvel
good.
Jesus.
There's no reason for me to watch. Like, even if they bring in Miles Morales, there's no need, because now I got these Spider-Verse movies, and I'm like, there's no need for me to watch this stuff anymore. I'm good.
Yeah,
I
100%.
shouldn't be more excited to see Venom than Black Captain America.
Actually, at this point, that fucking Craven is looking. Craven's
Yo, I
not looking
hope
so
Craven
bad
is
now.
just like Madam Web, dog. Like, I want to have another good time.
Oh God, if they were smart, they would have reshot shit to make it as fucked up as Madam Web if they were smart.
I like how they putting that out at Christmas. They're like, yeah, because people going to want to see it over. I'm like, yeah, people are going to want to go see an R-rated Craven movie at Christmas. Okay, all right.
Yeah, like I hope they go back and they fuck up shit deliberately. That's what Sony should do from now on with these with their Marvel adjacent IPs. It's just make them bad on purpose.
All right, and that is our special news episode.
We're the Film Blerds. I'm Brandon Nord, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist. I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blerds podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.